mile away. You got very good eyesight, because if I look back, I can see him there. He's waving at me. That's Evan there. You were speaking to some of the officials, Dalimpofu to be exact, one of the fighters from the Economic Freedom Fighters, and that will tie in very closely to my next conversation now. We're joined by SABC senior multimedia producer Matiba Matuana. Muteiwana.
Yes, kind of. Almost got it.
Yes. Do you know this is number 2 that I've got wrong so far? I'm starting to look bad, but we're going to discuss the influence of social media on these elections. Taking a look at the Economic Freedom Fighters, they've had such a presence on Twitter. I mean, following on, liking some of their followers and just checking them out. There's one who calls himself the leader, self-appointed leader of the Twitter battalion of the EFF. Yes, commissars and all of that. They've had a strong presence on Twitter, haven't they?
Exactly. These elections have been called the online elections because for the first time in SA, political parties actually going online to try and get voters. But the main problem that we've had in South Africa is that apparently political parties and party leaders haven't been able to engage with whoever they are, who's following them. So EFF has had a big presence online. Initially, DA was leading for a long time. ANC has been at the top, most followers, both on most followers on Facebook and Twitter. And with the EFF, they came up a lot of conversations around whatever it is that they were discussing. But the thing is, they have a lot of followers, but you must take compared to who's following them. They don't follow as many people back. So the big problem across the board with all political parties is that they're saying a lot of things. They dish out, this is what we're going to do, this is what we're up to, this is what we have done. But they don't really engage with whoever that's following them. So they have a lot of followers, but the question is, have they been truly engaging with concerns of whoever that is following them?
And another thing that is that's coming up a lot now, the new terminology that's been used in these elections. I mean, we saw the deputy chair of the IEC, Ndate Terry, using words such as Twitter, and it looked at Twitter and saying selfie, such words that are now being used and thrown around. If it wasn't for these elections, we wouldn't know the selfie, and selfie. But those are some of the new phrases that are being thrown around that have redefined these elections.
Exactly. The latest one is thumbsy, because people were not allowed to take photos in voting booths, and that's one of the IEC's regulations. But with young voters, born frees, voting for the first time this year, a lot of people broke that regulation. But people who decided to follow the regulation still took pictures, and they took thumbsies. I took one of those. So you take a picture of your thumb right after voting, which was pretty cool.
Okay. And so it's not a selfie, there's a thumb.
There's now a thumbsie. I think this is going to just be around for this period.
We'll see how the IEC will regulate the thumbsie, if at all. But talk to us about how the different generations have responded to social media platforms during campaigning.
Well, again, with newborns voting for the first time, a lot of voters went online helping their parties campaign, asking questions, which unfortunately most of them weren't answered. And that's the younger generation. But social media is actually much broader. Like radio, for example, there are a lot of older people who are on radio stations every night debating about what's going on in the country. And that's a form of social media. So you see a younger generation online tweeting, texting, born freeze, tweeting, texting, and doing all those things. Yes, and then you find the older generation embracing their social media platform on African language radio stations, and mostly we've seen social media, but on radio stations, that's social media, and a lot of older people have been engaging and finding out what's going on, asking questions, more or less the same kind of trend that you get on social Facebook and Twitter.
Do you think it's going to stay like that, or do you foresee social media platforms such as Facebook and Twitter overtaking what we've known as mass media platforms, radio, television?
I think it depends. We live in South Africa where a lot of people still don't have access to the internet or smartphones. Those are growing slowly. But I see in the near future a lot of young people, like Facebook for example, more parents are joining Facebook now, and you find younger people saying, oh no, my parents have joined Facebook, I think it's time I move to Twitter.
Or Instagram. Exactly. I can't see my mom liking my pictures.
Exactly. Yeah. So the older generation is embracing Facebook and Twitter. They're just not as active, or there just aren't as many of them there, but they are there, which is where young people are moving.
Tracking some of the political parties, which party has the most followers?
So far on Twitter, the Facebook and Twitter, for example, they're very different trends where you find Facebook favors political parties because most people on Facebook have a community going on. You know, you there because your friends are there, because you know whoever. That's built around communities and people who have common interests. And then you go to Twitter where you have direct access to just about anybody that you want to speak to. So Facebook favors communities and political parties in this regard. And when you go to Twitter, that favors personalities. So you find that a political leader will have more followers on Twitter while his political party has less followers on it. And then same thing applies on Facebook where you find that a political party has more followers but the leader has less followers on it. And then when you go to Facebook, for example, the ANC, Jacob Zuma, for example, he has more followers than the actual ANC. But the one thing that we've noticed is that Twitter verifies users. So if you are noted as a credible person or party or organization in a country, then they give you that little tick, that blue tick that says you've been ticked, you are a credible source. So if you're saying something, we know it's coming from you. And with Jacob Zuma and Helen Zille, they've both been verified. But the one thing I noticed is that Jacob Zuma's personal Twitter account, I haven't seen tweets since October.
Yeah.
So the ANC has been tweeting.
He doesn't strike me as someone who would tweet much. Though.
Exactly, but people are asking questions. People are trying to get something out of him. You know, the ANC responds as a party, but Jacob Zuma as an individual.
Yeah.
And the one thing we've also noticed is that Helen Zille, for example, her Twitter profile says it's Helen Zille. Jacob Zuma is my presidency. So it's kind of, am I speaking to you directly or am I speaking to you in this capacity? So,
Helen Zille, I think, though, tweets for all the politicians. She tweets so much. In fact, we had an insert where she will be on her stationary bike cycling and she'll be checking out Twitter. And every single day. She says it's something she does for fun as well. It's a bit of a hobby. She gets into a lot of tours.
Yes.
I've been told it's tours. Twitter wars.
Twitter wars, yes. She's gotten into a lot of those and they get very nasty, hey? Because the thing is, when someone is behind the screen, people get very brave because you don't know who you're speaking to and you know you're not going to get a punch in your face. So you can go, and there are like a lot of trends around that. People use hashtags so that if this specific war is going on, then people can just follow it and retweet it and retweet. And it gets very aggressive and yeah.
Now, when we take a look at some of the guidelines that we've seen pertaining technology in these elections, obviously the issue of selfies was a big one. Don't take a picture of the ballot paper or when you're in the booth. But something else that we haven't taken note of are some of the restrictions that need to be in place in terms of Twitter. For example, we were told that as of midnight the day before elections, you're not supposed to campaign. But you can still find people on Twitter canvassing for votes. So does that also count as campaigning? Are those some of the things that you think need to be legislated or regulated perhaps in the next elections?
I think so. I think there's a very big gap that yesterday I asked the IEC, are they going to do anything about, because it is an actual regulation that you're not allowed to take pictures. So we asked them, now that people have taken them, what are you going to do about it? And the electoral officer was like, I put it to South Africa, really. It's not a regulation. It's a regulation that you should. Anyways, so what he said was, I put it to South Africa.
Yeah.
If you find that somebody has taken a picture and you feel that it is a problem to you, then you can go and report it. And which means that somebody actually has to go and report it. As the IEC, they won't just go and say, hey, this is what we're going to do. And you realize that a lot of organizations have social media regulations within the organization where they're like, okay, cool, within this organization, you're not allowed to tweet, like, you're not allowed to tweet this way.
In
you're
your
not allowed to say
personal capacity.
Yes, even
that
in
we
your
all know,
personal capacity.
Even if you say that, but you represent whatever
exactly, you still represent whatever organization
Yeah.
that you're from. So it's one of those things where I think the IEC might need to take a note of and say, okay, this is how we're going to deal with this. Social media is growing and it's something that you cannot ignore.
Indeed, and also just speaking to some of the IEC officials with regards to those selfies, something that did come out in the press conference, they said we need to observe the spirit of the law and not just the letter. And the spirit of the law really was to regulate against buying votes. For example, if someone says to you, I will give you 1,000 rand if you can prove to me that you voted ANC or DA or or IFP or whatever, and that's when you get people taking selfies or
Yes.
taking pictures of the ballot paper to say, you see, I did vote for you,
Yes.
and here's the proof. So that was the strongest term, and not just for those who just wanted to show their friends, look at me, Chomi,
Yes.
I'm voting for the first time, I'm a born free, So it wasn't for that. It wasn't just to stop people from having fun, but it was to try and curb those votes for sale things. So also IEC saying we need to adhere to the spirit of the law and not just the letter thereof, because
Exactly.
people were just thinking they're just trying to, kill my vibe, as to say, as the young people would say, kill my
Kill my
vibe.
vibe.
Okay, we're going to leave it there for now, but also people have been corresponding with various media platforms via social media. They've been tweeting us, and that's what we've invited you to do today. So let's take a look at those tweets and see what people have had to say. This is Unati Grootboom. Unati saying the IEC next time they must come up with a plan of counting the ballot papers. People are delaying the process, and that's after we spoke to IEC Chair Panzi Tlakula saying in Gauteng in particular, they've given some of their officials a bit of a rest to make sure that they are efficient when they do count, and that's what's causing the delay. Let's get this next comment from Mr. Flanagan saying SADC Elections Observer Mission says elections 2014 had some problems, but overall were peaceful, free, fair and transparent. And yes, indeed, they did say that. Lee says that with just about 1,000 voting districts to come in, it doesn't look like the picture will change. ANC at about 62%, DA 22. That's quite right, Lee. Those are the figures at the moment. And then a picture, obviously, of where things stand at the moment. You get a lot of these every second because the numbers are changing, but they're not going to change as much as we think they will, because at the moment things are starting to settle down with about 95.59% of the votes having been counted and captured already. The ANC at 62.44%, DA at 22%, and the EFF at 6.16%. So that's the general picture at the moment.